We find ourselves to be in a very interesting time on the earth. We have a magnetic pole shift likely to happen pretty soon. You got all these volcanoes that are going off. Mount Etna, within a month, they say a mile wide underwater volcano off the coast of Washington, right on a fault, like almost a super volcano, will go off. It's 95% ready to go, ready to blow. And I don't even know how that would not tsunami the fucking coastline. I'm sure it would. I mean, how are you going to have a super volcano almost go off that's a mile wide and it not cause some ruckus? We have the leftover invasion of migrants everywhere. Daily, we see pictures of people that are trying to interfere with some sort of operation because they think it's deportation, and it may be. Sometimes it's a drug bust. Sometimes it's something else. I watched a Chinese guy get deported, and what's her name? I can't think of the lady's name. Jordana, whatever her name. The real pretty lady that does the comedy that's making fun of shit. She's from, where's she from? Albania? She's Albanian. Really cute, but just clowning on the bullshit about all this stuff. I just watched Jesse Peterson ask one of these weirdo pastors, a black lady, and it was saying, he's like, "Do you have any fear?" And she's like, "Yeah, I fear a white supremacist shooting me and my mocha chocolate children." Like, how often are actual white supremacists popping off and shooting black people? I know that guy did that church a couple years ago, and that was horrible. But I mean, are there white supremacists just roving around you all the time? No. I'm not a white supremacist at all. I don't have any desire to shoot somebody's mocha children. I want them to stay alive. I want them to live a happy life. Why do you have to feel that way about me when, I don't, that's not who I am, There's daily hundreds, if not tens, of up to hundreds of shootings, gang members, black people shooting and murdering black people. He asked her, "Are you afraid of that?" "I'm not afraid of that." Well, that's the real thing that's likely to get you fucking shot. Because those people don't know who you are. You might get in the crossfire. It's more statistically likely you're going to get your ass fucking shot behind some shit like that. And she couldn't talk to him. She wasn't comfortable. He's like, "Are you not happy?" He's like, "People came over here. The land's been conquered. Just like every other situation where there's a country, that indigenous population that used to live there got conquered. Just like everyone else. Get over it. There's no situation where you would have had the world advance, no colonism of this fucking place, and the Native American population would have just accommodated and on their own done the American thing. It was people coming over here from Europe. It was that culture transplanted here, modified itself towards some form of freedom, build a society that everyone in the world is trying to come to today. Everybody in the world wants to come to America. Why is it so hard to admit that to some of these people? Because if you admit that, then you have to concede a lot of your argument about racism. And there were white people that were slaves too. There were a lot of indentured servants. They came over as debt slaves that were white. England and the U.S. put a stop to racism and, slavery. Not to say that it went on, but not that very long in the grand scheme of things. We're not comfortable with slavery. We're not. We don't want anybody to be enslaved. It may have changed it may have been different during the hardship times when there were still people capturing, there are slaves today in fucking Brazil. There are slaves in Arabia. And some cultures have never stopped slavery at all. So to beat us up about slavery on and on, it's just ridiculous. We have this victim culture where everybody's got to be some sort of victim. This and this happened to me, so I can't succeed. Well, you could, I could. I'm not in any sort of way fully realized. I don't have the food I need to eat. I don't have a vehicle. I don't have a job. I'm not fucking a success, but I'm not destroyed. I'm waiting and seeking opportunities that I can find. I just happened to quit driving because I didn't have a license and I didn't want to drive with it anymore. So, it takes a long time to remedy these things if you've done things wrong. And I did things wrong. I did things the way I wanted to do them. And now I'm having to pay for it. And that's fine because I want to do them right. You should be able to have a pathway to that. Everybody should be able to realize that in their own life and have a pathway to it. If it doesn't happen and it goes south, well, then I failed. And it's still very possible. But it doesn't mean that I've given up, because I haven't. I'm not saying I'm a victim or a failure. Circumstances that went along in my life, I was the cause of. I was responsible for my life, and I got what I put in. And I'm trying to remedy that and change that in different ways. And that's what growing up is. That's what wisdom is, finding that way. You're not always going to know it. It's not always going to just fall in your lap either. There are things that you have to do to get yourself there. And I'm clawing and looking for them every day. But this is the greatest nation on the earth, bar none. That's a fact. Everybody wouldn't want to come here if it wasn't. But our system is really fucked up. It really needs a renovation. It needs a renovation because our voice, although we have a voice, you could really make the case that your vote doesn't count, with the thing with the migration, with them opening the border, who the fuck gave them the permission to do that? And should the executive, if they're on a different party, just choose to open the border, and everyone have to suffer the millions of people coming in? I mean, what remedy do we have for that? And we vote for your congressman who's lobbied to fucking hell in all kinds of different ways from all different types of fucking organizations and corporations. So what is the remedy to fix the society? I think we need radical revolutionary style change. Actually, I don't see a way to fucking make the system work. We watched all these people go in, Kash Patel, Bongino, only to tell us the same shit about Epstein. He killed himself, okay? What about that swole ass dude that's his fucking... Have you seen the cellmate to Epstein? The cop that had 4 life sentences? The crooked cop that murdered someone? 4 life sentences? Maybe 4 people he murdered. The guy's a fucking tank. You telling me that guy didn't break his neck? I call bullshit on that. And everybody knows it. You have these elites that are running the show, that have been running the show, and they're politicians. And that's just the tip of the iceberg. We don't see the real people pulling the strings because they don't want to be seen. They want to lurk in the shadows. So what is our recourse in the matter? Well, a lot of us try to make our voices heard. We try to air these fucking issues and put them out there so that they get some feedback, and see, you test the barometer to see where people are at. See if they believe in these things, if they just want to go along to get along. A lot of people just want to go along to get along, especially in the Democratic side, because they don't know most of the issues. They get their talking points from the fucking news stations, and they don't report anything fine. I just watched Whoopi Goldberg say all this stuff about mothers, and if this nation really cared about children, they would do this and that. And it was done by this administration. And now she's saying, I'm disgusted. I'm appalled. Why? Because we have a low birth rate, and they're trying to make it easy for people to have children and have families? Fucking, what's wrong with you? I mean, how could you listen to those women on the fucking View? If you're not just a bleeding heart, and you're not just completely emotionally fucking wired, how could you listen to those women and think anything that they're saying is worth the fuck? They're trash. Joy Behar, trash. They're always down in men. Men are not a problem. You need men in your society. You need men to build the society, do what they're doing. And what are we? Because feminism has gone feminazi. Women are all hijacked into thinking that, man just wants to control their lives. And that's not true at all. And men can't even find a women that are decent because they're all fucked up from this thinking that was planted on the left and then revised and renewed by communist, Marxist sort of thinking. And if you haven't noticed, communism and Marxism, socialism hasn't worked anywhere. It hasn't worked anywhere. Not at all. It doesn't mean the capitalism's the greatest, but you got a shot at making something in capitalism. You have to put in an effort to try to do something. You could try to make a business. You could try to fucking sell some stuff. You could have a channel. You could grow your channel. There's so many things that you can do that you're not able to do. If you're in communism, you have to go get in the bread line and get your bread. Everyone has to have there's no real connection to the type of thinking that goes into it. You know, you have to just say that the government's doing the greatest job in the world and lie about it, or you get fucking offed, you get sent to the fucking work camp. Come the fuck on. China's society looks like their people are a lot happy, but in a lot of ways not. Their economy is about to collapse. They're in economic fucking danger. But, you know, they take so much advantage of other cultures and they don't give a fuck. They steal intellectual rights. You try to go over there with a fucking patent or something and try to make something, they've got to have their government's Communist Party a partner in your business, and they're going to take your idea and just synthesize it and do it themselves and muscle you out like they've done to all these other business people. So how ashamed should you be of America and actually be bitching about it when you could be part of a solution? We could make a solution. We could renovate this whole thing. And the fact that we're not, and we're bitching and we're trying to make each other identity politic divided, that's not ever been the right way to do shit. That's not the way you make an equitable society. Have everybody focus on, you know, you're black, so they're always going to be rude to you. That's not true. Why would you tell that to children? Make them think that they're always going to have to fucking look out? It's simply not true. And if you look at the cop stuff, you know, police are not just shooting black people. The statistics on that will show you that everybody that's gotten shot has had some sort of weapon. You know, nobody's getting just fucking capped. Our media makes everything look so blowed up like something else that it's not. And it's so one-sided because they don't want to inform the people. The model that they're operating on is keep people in fear, keep people in scarcity. And if you live like that, your life and your society is going to be trash. So if you want to have a life in a society that's not trash, come together and let's build something that's worth it. It doesn't look at your race. That doesn't let people from the outside of the country come in and just reap the benefits while somebody who's white is going to sit here and starve. I can't give food stamps. Somalians are fucking come and get in housing and then live in half their time in Somalia. They leave and go back on vacation. And they're supposed to be refugees from Somalia? Get the fuck out of here with that bullshit. It's fucking bullshit and it's trash. That's all I wanted to say. It's just a reflection on where our society's at. What are the things going on? Can we do something about it? Yes, we can. But we have to start looking at it and then talk about what we're seeing.